Good morning to all. Hope you are doing well and safe. Today we will discuss about pressure sore or bed sore. I know that most of our nurses are very familiar with this word, and some of you might write incident report when our patients develop new bed sore. Is that right? Okay, we'll move to the topic. This is one of the important topic, and I have seen at least many questions coming from this area, and you can expect at least one question from this area in your any of the nursing comprehensive exam. So, what is coming to your mind when you listen this word pressure sore? It causes damage or impairment to the skin integrity. So, how does the skin integrity impairment will occur? It results when the skin and the underlying tissue compressed due to pressure between the bony prominence and the external surface area for a prolonged period of time, for an extended period of time. You imagine this is the bony prominent area and the underlying tissue. This one will contact with an external surface area and the pressure for a prolonged period of time. What will happen? If the blood supplied to this particular area, I am just showing an example, but the blood supplied to the this particular area will be compromised. There will be lack of blood supply. So what will happen if lack of blood supply? Blood is the one carrying the oxygen, lack of oxygen, and that leads to the ischemia, damage of the skin, and that will leads to the next step of inflammation and will develop necrosis, death of the tissues. So that is happening in the bed sore or pressure sore. Is that clear? So now we will see step by step and what are the important risk factors and what are the main pressure points in our body. So shall we go to the risk factors? What are the risk factors that you all know? All of you know that friction and shear that we are studying from our nursing college, and this is very familiar because whenever we are making a bed, our instructor will tell us to take a wrinkle-free bed, and we know that based on the patient's dependency level, we should put some air mattress or wool mattress for preventing this bed sore. All of you know all those things, right? Then another risk factor is immobility. Might be because of surgery, or there might be dependency 3 or 4, or someone might have DVT or any other kind of issues which may lead the patient to immobile for some period or some days. That may leads to that is the prone to get pressure sore if we will not do a frequent assessment positioning and we will not carry out some of the measures to prevent bed sore. Another risk factor is malnutrition. If they are not receiving enough nutrition, that also can lead to a bed sore if they are in the bed for a long time. Then excessive skin moisture such as incontinence. Yeah, that is one of the common factor, especially for the geriatric burden patients. They might have incontinence of urine or stool, and that will lead to finally pressure sore. Then decreased sensory perception. That is also common in geriatric conditions, right? So these are some of the common and important risk factors that is related to pressure ulcer. Is that clear? Shall we move to the next one? Now we will see what are the main body pressure point areas. See, in the first picture you can see a patient who is lying in a left lateral position. So what all the areas can get pressure sore? We'll start from the head, the pin or the ear, then the shoulder area, then we'll move to the elbow, the outer aspect of the elbow, then the hip, then the outer side or the lateral side of the knee, then heel, and also the inner side of the another knee or elbow, right? Knee. So these are the some common pressure points area when the patient in a left side lateral position for a long time. Then if the patient is sitting in a wheelchair or sitting in a bed, what are the areas? We know that sacrum is one of the common area of pressure sore, right? Then head, shoulder, buttocks and heel. Okay, so this two picture, I hope it will be clear to give you an idea about the pressure points in our body, right? So we should take care, we should put some measures, we should use some air mattress and supportive devices and pillow to position the patient, frequent position changing, everything, right? So now we will see the steps of pressure sore. That is very important. When we are discussing the anatomy and physiology, I have already mentioned that we should know what are the layers of skin, because the layers of skin is very important when we are differentiating the stages of pressure sore. In the first stage, what area or what you will see usually? In the first stage, we will see redness. So redness means that will affect only in the upper layer of the skin, that is epidermis. Okay, so how we will consider this as a stage 1 or redness? When we will apply pressure, it will not blanch, or sometimes it will not come to the normal skin as it is before, or sometimes it may take 15 to 20 minutes to come back to a slight normal stage. That means a redness develop. That is, redness is called the stage 1 pressure sore. So what we have to do in this stage 1? The area, it should be like red and does not blanch with the external pressure. Then what the main point, nursing priority point, what we keep it in our mind? We should not massage the reddened skin area. Why? It may lead to damage to the skin further. So we should avoid massaging the reddened area for preventing further damage to the tissue. Okay, is that clear, the stage 1? You can see the picture of stage 1. I have added the picture also, which will clear more idea, more clarity to the topic, right? We'll see the next step or the next stage is called stage 2. In stage 2, what are the layers will affect? In stage 2, the skin is not intact. Sometimes from outer look, you may feel intact, for example, blister. But that, the blister when it's open, the first layer of skin, it's removed, almost it's removed, and it's going to affect the second layer, that is called dermis. So in the stage 2, two layers, the first 2 layers of skin will be affected, that is the epidermis and the dermis. So how it appear? It is a partial thickness skin loss of the dermis and the epidermis. Okay, then a pressure as a shallow open ulcer with pink red base. So how it present, or how you will, when you will see this stage 2, it will look like a pink red base appearance. So that we should keep in our mind. Okay, so this is stage 2. One example is blister, and it will affect the first 2 layers of skin, that is the epidermis and dermis, and it presents as a pink red base. Okay, it's clear. Shall we move to stage 3? In stage 3, here also the skin is not intact. So what do you think? How many layers of skin will be affected in stage 3? Mainly the first 3 layers: epidermis, dermis, and some part of the subcutaneous. So how does this stage 3 look like? We all know that subcutaneous fat is a fat area in which the fat, when we will listen the word the fat, we know like a slight yellowish. So in the stage 3, when we will see the wound, we can see slight yellowish or white gray appearance on the base of the skin. So that is the presentation of that it look like in stage 3. So there is a full thickness skin loss, and it will affect the epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous fat or the hypodermis. Is it okay? You will see the picture also. Okay. Then the last stage, that is the stage 4. So now we told that if the pressure sore reach until where? Until the subcutaneous. When in the stage 4, it will go more deep, and we can see the muscles and tendons. So if the thickness will be more, and there will be like purulent drainage, that is very common, and also very foul smelling most of the times. So that is, we should keep in mind, in this first stage it will be very foul smelling and purulent drainage, and the wound base most of the time will be look like a brown or black color. A scar will be present. Okay, that is means like a slough. A scar means slough, the dead tissue, that one. Okay, so here what all the skin is not intact and what all the things will affect, what all the layers, epidermis, dermis and subcutaneous, and we can see the tendons and muscles also. So all the three layers will affect, and will be also the tendons and muscles are visible in most of the cases. Okay, this is happening in the first stage. So now we study all 4 stages of pressure sore. Is that clear? Stage 1, skin is intact but only the redness. And stage 2, it will affect, stage 1 affect only the epidermis, stage 2 dermis and epidermis. I will show you a picture that will give you a clear idea. See, we'll take one portion of the skin layer, and in the first stage it will affect the dermis, the second stage it will affect the first stage epidermis, second stage dermis and epidermis, then third stage epidermis, dermis and subcutaneous tissue, and the last 4th stage we can see tendons and muscles also, and also very foul smelling, brown and bright color scar most of the time, and there will be purulent drainage. Okay, this is about the stages of pressure sore. So I hope now when you are in the hospital, or if you are a student, when you will see a pressure sore, you know how to differentiate whether it is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 or stage 4. Is that clear? Shall we move to the next part, that is the prevention and management of pressure sore. It is very important. Upon admission, when we are receiving a patient, even though the patient is dependency 2, we should have a thorough skin assessment, especially in the pressure point areas. Because of the illness or the medical condition that they have, sometimes the patient might be not out of the bed for most of the time, and we might be thinking that okay, they are not bedridden, they can walk themselves, so we will not put, or we will not take care much about the positioning and or about the skin. Finally, what will happen? Sometimes it may leads to a pressure sore. Might be only redness, but you know, a redness can leads to or reach to until wound. So very careful about this one. So first one, what the prevention is: perform frequent skin assessment and monitor for an alteration in skin integrity. So what we are using in our clinical settings, I hope all of you know that Braden scale. What are the things in Braden scale? We have 6 contents that we already discussed as risk factors: friction and shear, immobility, nutrition, sensory perception, immobility. Okay, these are some of the main points in Braden scale. If anyone would like to understand or know more about the Braden scale, please mention the inbox. I will add a separate video about this one, Braden scale. I hope all of you know, because you are working in the hospital settings and we are using this Braden scale for our all initial and daily assessments. Is that clear? Then keep the skin clean, dry and intact. That is very important. Might be the patient have a continuous incontinence of urine or stool, whatever it is, we should always check, and we should ensure that the skin is clean, dry and intact. Then the primary focus of prevention and treatment is to relieve the pressure. Before we told that the pressure between the bony prominence and the external surface area is the one result the pressure ulcer. So what is the primary focus? To relieve that pressure and provide optimal nutrition and hydration, which is very necessary for the skin or preventing the bed sore. Then clean the skin with the mild cleansing agent. We should not use some harsh soaps or something. We should always ensure that we are using mild cleansing agent and pat dry, and just don't rub over and over. Just ensure that pat dry soon after following the urine or stool incontinence or when we are cleaning the diapers. Then provide tepid bath and minimal scrubbing. Okay. So these are the some prevention points. We'll move to the next point. So what the another point, you already mentioned that positioning. How long we will position? Usually we'll position every 2 hours. But if the patient situation is very bad, or the patient have some other issue or incontinence of stool or urine, we might have to do more frequently than 2 hours. Okay. Then provide active and passive range of motion exercise at least every 8 hours. That is very important, because when we are providing this active and passive range of motion exercise, it will helps the skin to regain its flexibility, and it will relieve the pressure also. Then ambulation as fast as possible. Then lift the patient by using higher lift or hydraulic lift instead of pushing or put. This is very important. I hope all of you know this one. I will show you a picture of this machine what we are using. See in this is the one is called hydraulic lift or higher lift. So very easy for us to transfer the patient from bed to wheelchair or wheelchair to bed. And sometimes if we want to transfer the patient for any procedure to stretcher, we can use this machine. Okay, this is very useful and good for healthcare workers as well as for the patient in terms of safety and the body mechanics. Okay. Then provide a firm wrinkle-free bread that we already know. Whenever we start to study making bed making, this is the first point we study, that provide a wrinkle-free bread. Then hydration or nutrition. Then treatment may include a regular wound dressing, debridement, skin grafting. Debridement is usually done in the stage 3 or stage 4, and sometimes we'll go with the grafting also. Then other treatments include electrical stimulation to the wound area, then vacuum assisted wound closure. This is especially for the wound in 4th stage and might have more purulent foul smelling discharge. That time we'll use. Then hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and use some of the topical growth factors. So these are the common preventive and prevention and management treatment aspect of the pressure ulcer. I hope it's clear. Is that fine? So we will discuss one question. I will read the question. The nurse is assessing a hospitalized older client for the presence of a pressure ulcers. The nurse notes that the client has 1 × 1 inch area of his sacrum in which there is a skin breakdown as far as the dermis. Okay, here they gave some keyword as far as the dermis. What should the nurse note on the chart? So the nurse, when she saw, she was doing assessment and she knows that there is a skin breakdown which reach until which layer of the skin? Dermis. So if it will reach until which layer, until dermis, what would be the stages? What she will note in the chart? Stage 2. Okay, here stage 2 is the answer. Stage 2 pressure ulcer. So this is for today. Review the topic and study with the knowledge that you already have, and be confident. Bye bye.